How's it going, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, I'm sorry that I haven't posted a video for a few days. After I went to York on Saturday with my mum, for all those that have asked, we had a great time. Thank you very much. Something special about the city of York. Went up on a train on Saturday, got into York for about 11 o'clock, hit Costa Coffee, went on some river cruise and stuff. Then we went to the York dungeons. From the dungeons we went to Clifford Tower, which is like all that's left of York Castle and stuff. It's on a mound. There used to be a moat round it and stuff with a drawbridge. It actually doubled up as a prison as well, which is convenient. And then from there we went on the open top tour bus. Then we got off. Then we went for food. Then we went round the shambles and stuff. Just had a great time with my ma, spending some quality time with my family. Means a lot, guys. So thank you for all those that have asked. Sorry that I haven't posted a video though. I caught the sun really bad. You can't really see it there because I've wet my head. But I burnt to a crisp. I thought I had sunstroke. I've had it before. Horrible, horrible thing. I don't have sunstroke. I've been rehydrating myself and stuff. Anyway, guys, tomorrow morning at about 11 o'clock, I'm going to be on Love Sport Radio. I believe you can download it on iOS free of charge, and also on Android on Play Store. Love Sport Radio, apparently. I've done an interview with them once before. Apparently it's a new radio station. The interview is with Kelvin McKenzie, who used to be the editor of The Sun, very controversial, talks way too much, likes the sound of his own voice. And I'm doing an interview on the story I'm going to be talking about now, which is ironically, this is in the Sun newspaper. I know it's not everyone's favourite paper or newspaper or toilet paper for that matter, but what I'm interested in is the story's pretty much the same across all tabloid media. But this is the one I've chosen to write down so I can break it down for you guys. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to read it. Let's get on with it. Prison pardon. Justice Minister Rory Stewart slammed after saying jail terms under a year should be scrapped. Now, the Tory faced major backlash amid rising concerns over an increase in violent crime and moped gangs. Justice Minister Rory Stewart was slammed for calling prison sentences for under a year to be scrapped. The Tory was accused of giving a green light to criminals after telling MPs of his plans to slash the prison population. He even claimed victims would be better off given the likelihood of those sent to prison reoffending. Justice Secretary David Gauke last month said prison terms of less than a year should only be used as a last resort. But Rory Stewart's suggestion sparked uproar amongst the hardline Tories, giving spiralling concerns over knife crime and moped gangs. Tory backbencher Philip Davis said it was an idiotic suggestion. Insiders admitted Mr. Stewart had gone beyond current government policy. The incendiary comments, can't pronounce that word, came hours before the Minister of Justice revealed plans to divert women criminals away from prison and rehabilitate them at new residential centres instead. So there's about 3,800 female prisoners, guys, and they want to reduce that number with these no prisons anymore, residential centres. So they're going soft on female offenders. Women commit crime as well, you know. Fucking absolutely fuming with this. No, inequality is very much alive within the Tory government. Absolute bastards that they are. Anyway, it says here, Justice Secretary David Gauke faces a bitter backlash of his own with plans to use community care to break the cycle of female offending. Nothing to do with male offending, not interested in male offending. If anything, they're building 2 more prisons on top of the 4 super prisons they've earmarked, right? Which is going to take the prison population up to 93,000, guys, whilst going soft on female offenders. In an announcement, he will also scrap plans for female-only prisons. Now, for me, male and female prisons, right? They should be mixed. The wings should be mixed. Should have men and women on the same wing. It'd be great. I'd be a father of 16. Right? Honest to God. But yeah, he's going to scrap female-only prisons. Mr. Gauke insisted serious criminals will still be put behind bars, but he urged critics to back his plans, insisting that putting women into prison can do more harm than good for society. What about men? He said, while public protection will always be our priority and prison must remain the only option in the most serious of cases, I want that to be a last resort. Females commit crimes as well. Johanna Dennehy, the serial killer. You've got Courtney Briley, who's just been convicted for the 4 manslaughters, even though she should have been found guilty of the 4 murders and the attempted murder of Michelle Pearson and the 4 Pearson children, Demi, Brandon, Lacey and Little Lear, right? You've got Johanna Dennehy, you've got Rose West, who's been there forever and a day. Obviously, Myra Hindley, she died. There are female offenders in prison that are dangerous psychopaths, right? For me, all women are psychopaths, but we won't go into that. That's a joke, by the way. The women are going to start jumping on that. So it says there, though, right? So there are currently 3,800 women in prison, and insiders admitted the new policy would cut numbers by thousands over the coming years. Thousands. There's only 3,800 of them in prison. And you want to go soft on them. Shoplifters and stuff. Some of the most prolific offenders out there are women, right? And yet, so they want to decrease the prison numbers for women, but yet they're building more prisons for men. More prisons, more problems, more prisoners, more suicide, more self-harm, more death, misery and despair. Simple as that. The Howard League of Penal Reform last night said the Cabinet Minister deserved real praise. I like the Howard League of Penal Reform, but I don't agree in this regard at all. The think tank's chief, Francis Crook, this is the Howard League of Penal Reform, insisted that 70% of women who were sentenced to 6 months in prison or less. Ministers have been battling a prisons crisis for the past 2 years with record levels of drug-fueled violence recorded in overcrowded prisons. Now, it's not just drug-fueled violence, is it? You've got, obviously, we're seeing record numbers of assaults, we're seeing record numbers of self-harm year on year. I mean, I think there was 44,600 incidents of self-harm in prisons last year. That amounts to 1 every 12 minutes, guys. Some do it small as a cry for help. Some try to sever arteries and stuff and try and bleed out. As a former prisoner, guys, right, the first things first, the sentence is under 12 months, right? I've been on a short sentence, right, in prison. I've actually been on 3 short sentences of 12 months and under, right? Now, that doesn't mean that I wasn't a naughty fucking criminal because I was bang at it for a very long time. But I was only convicted, sorry, not even convicted. I was convicted on 2 offences and remanded on a 3rd of witness intimidation, right? When you are on a short sentence, guys, let me break it down for you, right? It's a waste of taxpayers' money, right? Why? Well, firstly, prisons don't work. It doesn't matter how long your sentence is, prison doesn't work. In fact, it's my opinion, the longer you're in prison, it germinates the problem because more criminal connections you actually make. When you leave prison, a lot of people leave prison homeless. I've seen people go to prison as addicts and leave as addicts. I've seen people go to prison having never taken drugs in their life and are leaving addicts or worse in body bags, right? It goes on, guys. Prison does funny things to people. And certain people use a drug as a coping mechanism to escape the reality of the surroundings and stuff, because prison, it's a very depressing place. It's full of paranoia, frustration, anger, depression, mental health, suicide, self-harm, drugs, debt, violence, and the list goes on and on. But on a short sentence, guys, right, you don't get any sentencing plan. For those that don't know, a sentencing plan, if you're doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years plus, right, you get a sentencing plan. Courses that are put to you from the National Offender Management Service, right, NOMS, right, and probation and stuff like that. Courses will be put to you whilst you're in prison that if you, like some people get out halfway through the sentence, after 10 years you've got to go for probation and stuff. You've got to go through probation and stuff like that. So you've got to jump through hoops to prove yourself to these people, and you can do courses and stuff. Now, the thing is with the courses, guys, right, the courses are about ticking a box, yeah? You don't necessarily, some prisoners want to do courses. Other prisoners want to do courses, but they don't want to do the courses, they just want to get out of the cell. And it's about ticking a box and stuff, because it might help you for coming up for HDC, home detention curfew, tag, stuff like that, right? But the prison system, guys, doesn't work. So if you're banged in prison for 12 months, right, on a small charge, because like I say, the small charges, I've been in prison with people that have been doing weeks for non-payment of parking fines, non-payment of council tax, minor Section 39 and Section 47 assaults, minor offences, guys, minor offences, right? And the simple fact is no courses are put to you, prison doesn't work, and the only person that can rehabilitate you is yourself, right? So being in prison for a year costs the taxpayer about £40,000 a year, and the fact it doesn't work, and the fact that you get no sentencing plan, is, and there's nothing to be gained by putting you in prison. The prison system isn't about punishment. The punishment of prison is losing your liberty, and it affects people differently, but it gets to absolutely everybody. So I completely agree that short sentences, for me, a year and a half, 2-year sentences should be absolutely abolished, and we should have more faith in community orders and stuff like that. Suspended sentences with community orders and stuff like that. Community orders, for those that don't know, you go to probation, you report to probation, you'll be put in a high-vis jacket, high-vis vest, and you'll be put to work. You could be litter picking, you could be maintaining people's gardens, you could be working in a charity shop. It's a productive punishment, guys. Saves the taxpayer money, and like I say, by going to prison, it actually germinates the problem. And also another reason as well is a lot of people go to prison for 12 months, 8 months. You do half. For those that don't know, if you get 12 months here in the UK, you'll do 6 months. If you get 8 months, you'll do 4 months. If you get 6, you'll do 3. If you get 3, you'll do 6 weeks. It goes on, guys, right? Now, short sentences are just laughable. And like I say, a lot of people go to prison for 12 months. They end up doing 6. They end up getting evicted because of rent arrears and stuff like that. Not everyone lives with a family and 6 kids, right? Some people live on their own. They go to prison. They can't pay the bills or anything. What happens? The private landlord or the housing association evicts them. Normally with private landlords, it's quicker because they're just like, right, you're in prison, bam, and they apply. Then you come out of prison with £46, you're homeless, you've got nowhere to go, you commit offences to go back to prison because it's better to have a roof over your head and 3 meals a day than it is to be the alternative on the streets, or you just go back to crime, or you start taking drugs or drinking because you spiral into depression and stuff, you've got nowhere to live, you haven't got a support network. Breeds the problem, man. And then when it comes to female offenders, moving on from that, when it comes to female offenders, so 3,800 female offenders, I think the prison population is about 84,000 currently. So call it 80,000 are men and 3,800 are women, right? They want to go. They want to open these residential centres, guys, and they want to go soft on female offenders because they've had bad childhoods, they've had bad relationships, they've become addicted to drugs. Let's flip the coin. Men that have been, a lot of people, both men and women. Like I say, I just want equality, me, right? But both men and women, right? People that end up in trouble and end up in prison, before they've ever been offenders, they've been victims. They've grown up in care, they've care leavers, they've been sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally abused, bullied, taken drugs, parents have been addicts, they've been passed from pillar to post, they've been sexually abused, raped. It goes on. It really does go on. So, but they're just focusing on women. Oh, we want to get the women numbers down. What about getting the male numbers down? Oh no, that's right. You're building more prisons for men. And we're going to go up to 93,000 plus in the next 4 years. Prison population. More prisons, more prisoners, more problems. Simple as that. Absolutely clueless, guys. And another thing about the argument that winds me up about the story is that these Tory backbenchers and stuff, these fucking self-serving fucking arseholes, right? They don't turn up to big debates about things, but as soon as it's their wages and stuff, they're all there. Half of them, you see pictures of them fucking asleep. But it says here, the Tory was accused of giving a green light to criminals after telling MPs of his plans to slash the prison population. For me, guys, it was already a green light to criminals to commit offences when they cut 21,000 police officers, which has taken us to fewer police now than the lowest police numbers in 22 years. That's where it's a green light for criminals to commit crimes and offences, right? And like I say, you're building more prisons, and then you want to there's fewer police on the streets that are going to arrest these people. So what they do, the ones that they do arrest, they try to stitch them up and fuck them over and hide evidence and stuff and disclosures so they can convict these people. And rather than going for the crime that they've committed, they go for a higher crime and hope it sticks. Because why? Because it carries a harsher sentence, and they've got policing level, they've got arrest statistics that they need to hit, and conviction rates that the CPS need to go for and stuff. Yet the CPS are declassed as independent. Absolutely clueless, guys. Like I say, absolutely fuming with a story. For me, men and women should be treated equally in the prison system. Like I say, a crime is a crime, whether it's committed by a man or a woman. Crime is crime, guys. And like I say, you've got men in prison that are in for violence. You've got women that are in for violence. You've got males that are in for serial killers. You've got women that are in for serial killers. You've got men in for shoplifting. You've got women in for shoplifting. You can't, just because someone's got fucking long hair and tits, right, doesn't make them fucking. They shouldn't. The court shouldn't be less and softer on them, and let's break the cycle for women. Well, what about men? The root cause of offending and stuff like that. Absolutely clueless, guys, these people. Like I say, anybody, all my subscribers and stuff, I'm interested to know your comments, your suggestions, what you think about the video and stuff. I do rant, guys, I do go on, I do suffer with my focus and stuff and my attention sometimes. But I'm going to put a link in the description below. Let me know what you think, guys, and I'll leave it there. Like, comment, subscribe. Speak to you soon.